tell you what you can do if you find that someone is using your artwork without permission. It's called copyright infringement. Now, there's the most common way of approaching this problem, which is the DMCA takedown notice, and I'll tell you about that. But then there's another route that you can take, which is, in my opinion, more effective, and what I would just go straight to if you have this experience. So what is a DMCA takedown notice? It stands for Digital Millennium Copyright Act. And it's a mechanism whereby you can alert the hosting company that your artwork is being used and you want it taken down. Now, you notice that I mentioned the hosting company. It doesn't really do any good to speak with the website owner directly because they are just going to ignore you. That's pretty much been everyone's experience. What you need to do is write to whoever's hosting the website. Sometimes you can just scroll down to the bottom of their website and it'll say, who the company is. Or if you don't know, you can just put into a Google search how to find who hosts a website. And there'll be a slew of web addresses where you can type in the URL for free and find out who the host is. Let's say that it's Shopify. What you would do is you would type in Shopify and DMCA. And the results you'll get in that search will be their takedown page with the form and the instructions. The form is rather easy. It's, you have to say who you are and your contact and the URL of the infringing artwork and the URL where it resides on your own website. And you can put in some comments if you want. And they will usually act on this pretty quickly, like in a day or two. And what they do is the web hosting company will just take down the artwork that is infringing. The problem with this is that it isn't much of a deterrent for the infringer. Because yes, it took my time to type up the form, but it doesn't take any time for the infringer because they don't even have to take it down. The web hosting company does it for them. And that is the limit of what they'll do. I don't believe they ever really take down, cease to host a company that is, even if their whole business model is based on using other people's art, and they don't tell you how many sales that they've made, and they don't, there's no further action after just having your artwork taken down. I wrote quite a few takedown notices, and I asked them how many is too many. At what point do you say we're going to stop hosting them? And for some reason, they just wouldn't answer that email. So it's not very satisfying. What I would recommend instead is look to see if they accept PayPal. If you see your artwork being offered on a website that accepts PayPal, do a Google search for PayPal DMCA and do the same thing there. Put in the URL of the infringing artwork, the URL where it exists on your website. They do require that you attest that it really is using PayPal because they're like, well, it could just have a PayPal logo, but they don't really use PayPal. So what I did is I put one of the items in the cart and I clicked on the checkout and I saw that it pulled up my PayPal account. So obviously it was a live PayPal checkout. And I did this with a paint by number kit company that was using one of my artworks. It did take quite a while for PayPal to act on it. It took, I think, 5 weeks. And after about a month, I did write a follow-up about it. And they disabled the PayPal account for that website, which apparently is quite a problem because now they can't accept payment for any of their stuff, not just mine, but for any of their stuff. This is a very unusual experience. I don't think this is what they would normally do, but this company reached out to me and said, hey, we're kind of sorry that we used your image without your permission, and we want to compensate you if you will help us get our PayPal account back. And I did think about it for a while, wasn't really sure what I thought, but in the end I decided, why shouldn't I be compensated for the use of my artwork? And they offered me $1,200. They said, well, we can't send it to you PayPal though, because our account's disabled. And they offered to wire the money to me. I didn't really want to give them my bank account information, so I suggested they use a money transfer service, and I can't remember whether it was MoneyGram or Western Union, but one of those two. So they said, well, what we're going to do is we're going to send you $800 now. After you write to PayPal, we'll give you the balance. And that's exactly what happened. You know, they sent me the $800. I wrote an email to PayPal saying that we'd resolved our differences and that I wished that they would have their account reinstated. And that did take a couple weeks. And I did write a follow-up email just to reiterate or, you know, prod them a little bit. And they did get their account back, and I received my other $400. So I wouldn't expect that to happen, but what I do recommend is that instead of filing a DMCA with the web hosting company, file it with their payment processor instead. That will be a consequence for their infringement. I hope you found this useful, and if you did, hit the like button.